What? Okay. What's going on, my peeps? Your man Versatile is back with another video. Back here to talk about the season finale of Loki season 1. Yes, spoiler alert, post-credits scene alert. There will be a season 2. Loki will return. That's what it said in the mid-credits scene. I don't believe there was actually a post-credit scene. Somebody update me if you will, but there was only one, and that was a mid-credit scene. Ooh, Loki just set up everything. You know, we thought it was going to be WandaVision. We thought it was going to be Wanda. We thought it was going to be so many different things. I don't think we were expecting Loki to actually be the season to kick off the multiverse, to actually introduce, officially introduce the multiverse. Yes, I said it. Episode 6, fantastic. It was different. Most season finales we expect like a big bang, a ton of energy. Guys, a ton of energy, a ton of just woos and wahs. You feel you like the production, the budget was held for that last episode. And to a very small degree, you feel that way just for the beginning of this episode alone, because my goodness, the Citadel, this location that's within the quantum realm where he who remains is one of his names, a ruler, a conqueror. Those are his aliases. They never actually officially said his name, but we know who he is. We'll get into it in a second. The castle, amazing. And it overlooks the timeline. Well, Sylvie and Loki are having trouble, well, I don't want to say having trouble, but they're, slowly making their way through this castle. Miss Minutes pops up to try to give them a brief warning, or basically tries to bribe them or cut them a deal to leave He Who Remains alone. They decline it. They continue further. It looks like there was already an issue at the castle, like something happened there before. They actually never explained that. I wouldn't be surprised if they will in season 2, of course. Well, as they make it through the castle, right towards the end, one of the final doors opens up, or basically an elevator opens up, and a figure is standing right there. And it is none other than, I forgot his name, but he's in Lovecraft Country, and we know him to be playing Kang the Conqueror in Ant-Man and the Wasp Quantumania, or Ant-Man and the Wasp 3. It's Kang. Kang is in this, right? But we find out through him that he's the original Kang the Conqueror, or well, not Kang the Conqueror, but he's the original Kang, or like the good Kang, if you will, because he created the TVA to essentially stop the multiverse war. He said prior to him making the TVA, when they came across the ability in the 31st century to be able to communicate between multiverses, he basically discovered that universes were stacked on top of each other, the multiverse. And at first we were all like, oh, hey, we love you, woo woo. And then it turned into all out war, because it turned into who was the best universe, essentially. And of course, there was variants of him. As we know, Kang the Conqueror is one of the variants, or the bad variant of Kang. And he decided to use the power of Alioth, that monster woven around in episodes, 4 and 5. He decided to use and harvest that power to help not only create the void, or use the void as a means to an end for variants, but to help straighten out the timeline. He created the TVA to prune, or essentially reset branches within the timeline to try to keep a linear timeline. Thus, that's why you have those moments throughout the season of them going to different places where Sylvie was or whatever, and to kind of reset the location so that way the timeline would stay consistent. Well, come to find out, he knew everything because he set all this in motion. He said to Loki and Sylvie that he essentially chose them to come and meet him. But it was for a specific purpose. It was to either kill him and allow the multiverse to wreak havoc and go crazy, or for them, Loki and Sylvie, to now run the TVA and continue to keep things straight, because he wants to retire, basically. He's like, yo, I'm getting old. This is a young man's game. I'm tired. And I'm sure you would over all this time period. So, of course, we see, and even Kang knows, that Sylvie has trust issues, major trust issues. And I guess you could say one of the main reasons why she would have trust issues is because she was kidnapped as a child. And then because, ever since that point, she's always had to be on her own. So she's actually never learned to trust another individual. So from that perspective, she has crazy trust issues. But outside of that, she doesn't have anything else that would really explain the trust issues. But I can buy that alone can cause you to have such mistrust for people that you just can't. You're just always looking at the other side. Plus, she is a sleight of hand, master manipulator. So of course she understands what can drive mistrust. So she's just always going to lean towards not trusting somebody over even being neutral. And even with Loki, you see in this moment when they're introduced this proposition, Loki's like, this kind of makes sense, but and you see him trying to think about it, and Sylvie's trying to go in for the kill already. And he's like, nah, chill, wait, please. And she's like, no, you want the throne. He's like, what? I ain't worried about no throne. Like, Loki, like, I ain't worried about no throne. And she's like, oh, you lie. I don't trust you. So they fight, duke it out. And then he finally gets her to calm down just for a second. And he's like, I want to make sure you're okay. Let's just think about this. And so she's like, oh, my God. And in that moment, I think Sylvie finally trusted Loki, or accepted that Loki not only was telling the truth, but she trusts Loki, but at the expense of not trusting Kang. She maneuvers or takes Kang's little, because he put his little hand thing on the table to let him know like he was telling the truth. He had this hand temporal pad, and he put it on the desk. So she kisses him, she takes it, and then portals Loki back to the TVA, and then she kills Kang. Kang says, inevitably, you're going to see me anyway because I just will exist. But you're just kind of just prolonging that if you kill me. She's like, oh, I'm going to kill you. She kills him. He's like, well, I'll see you soon. Winks at her. Then he passes away. And then you can see the castle overlooking the timeline. And you see branches just spiraling out of control. They go back to the TVA. Mobius, who's there, he has a conversation with Ravonna. Ravonna's like, I'm going to go try to find out too. And so she leaves and doesn't really say anything. But you see, what was the Agent 99 or something, or D15 or something like that. You see her and Mobius looking at the timeline, watching it just go crazy. There's like 63 different like branches going on right now. And then Loki makes it to them and he's like, we can't stop this because we made a mistake. And he didn't tell them while we were watching the show that Sylvie killed Kang. But he basically is also kind of taking onus in this, in that, we messed up. And I don't think we can change this. Something bad's about to happen. And of course, right at the end, they show Loki looking at a statue that was built in to, of course, the I guess you could say the center of the TVA building. And it is the actor, I think his name is Jonathan Majors. That's his name, Jonathan Majors. They show the statue of him carved out, and he's like, oh, wow, that was really him. But it's also letting us know that Doom is on the way. Not Victor Von Doom, all right, not Dr. Doom, Kang the Conqueror. And that's who we're going to see in Ant-Man and the Wasp 3. The crazy part about all this is we thought it was going to be Wanda and WandaVision or something, or that would actually create the multiverse. But no, it is in fact Lady Loki or Sylvie who actually creates the multiverse by taking out good Kang. And this also explains WandaVision's post-credit scene of the last episode, the series finale. Remember when she was kind of going through the book trying to study, and then she heard her kids' voices? Her post-credit scene takes place after, at least in my opinion, because it makes sense, but it takes place after Sylvie takes out good Kang. After the multiverse is created is when Wanda actually hears her kids' voices. So, Marvel never puts a lot of things in chronological order. So that makes sense from that perspective. And it also makes sense that this show takes place before WandaVision, because WandaVision takes place 6 months or so after, or months after the events of Endgame, whereas this takes place immediately during Endgame. Essentially, Endgame finishes, but they are doing their thing here. So even when you look at the timeline for the shows, Loki takes place before WandaVision anyway. So that makes sense as to why Sylvie creating the multiverse would then lead into WandaVision's post-credit scene of hearing her kids at the end. And then this is what sets up perfectly for Doctor Strange Multiverse of Madness, because now the multiverse is in madness. And this leads me to my biggest hot take, if you will. That is, Secret Invasion is not about the Skrulls. Secret Invasion is about the multiverse and the variants of people secretly invading the current universe, the current MCU that we have going on. That is what the multiverse, I believe, is going to be about. Now, this is all, of course, coming before Captain Marvel 2, or the Marvels, if you will, and this is also coming before we actually see the Sword TV show to let us know if the Skrulls are a bigger deal than what they've been used for thus far. But I am heavily leaning on the fact that Secret Invasion is about the multiverse and the variants of people or individuals, heroes, villains, and not that they're Skrulls doing that. That's what I, you know, Marvel themselves are very good at sleight of hand when it comes to sending us one way and it's a complete misdirect. That's what I'm guessing here. Let me know down in the comments below what you guys think about that. And Loki itself, did you guys enjoy it? Did you guys appreciate and like it? Did you like that the last episode took more of a psychological twist as opposed to a physical, all out, you know, super visual effects going out with a bang type style? I actually liked it because it gave us a lot of development in terms of the Lokis, in terms of the TVA, in terms of the Good King and what the multiverse is and what it's setting up for phase 4 and most likely phase 5 of the Marvel Cinematic Universe. So again, let me know down in your comments in the comment section below what you guys think of all this. I'm hyped and excited. This was a great episode. I liked it. Looking forward to seeing Black Widow here soon, and then Shang-Chi and the What If series. That I'm looking forward to it. Marvel is doing their thing right now. But again, if you guys haven't already, I would appreciate it if you guys ignite the like button, subscribe to the channel, hit that notification bell, so that way you never miss my videos. That way you can sit back, chillax, see what's cracking. But your man Versal signing out until the next video. He who remains for all time, always. Wait for